Sam Seder on Social Security funding from 335. I love Sam Seder.
That the biggest part of the budget,
I'll watch
more or
this.
less,
I don't care.
is Social Security and Medicare, right?
And Medicaid,
and Medicaid.
Entitlement programs.
Yeah, you can call them entitlement programs.
They are.
I call them social insurance programs because
Tomato.
That's what they really are.
That's 90% of the budget, I want to say.
No, the military is about $850 billion. Social Security is like $1.7 trillion. I think Medicare is probably close to like...
Social Security does cost a lot of money, guys, and I do think that it needs to be addressed, but the solution isn't to get rid of Social Security or even raise the retirement age. The solution is to like cut out the sort of like fiscal the bleeding, that we suffer from allowing all these payments to just get absorbed into an exploitative system of capital raising.
The charge
$700 billion, and then there's
60%.
other. But
more. It's a high number. It's a big number. You're right. It's a high number.
You'll find it's. I think our annual budget is somewhere around like 2.7 trillion, and the military is like 800 billion, 900 billion. That you can see anyways that they show us.
Yeah, high chart.
But nevertheless, Social Security, Medicare, the two biggest things that the government does are wildly popular. Medicare, you come from the insurance business, you probably know this. To administer health insurance, there's like a 13-15% cost in the administration of that health insurance. For Medicare, 3%. Far more efficient. And copays are less. The whatever you want to call it, consumer satisfaction. I don't like to think of citizens as consumers, but the satisfaction's huge, through the roof, particularly when people use it. It's people appreciate it who don't use it. If I got my parents, they're on Medicare, I'm pretty psyched about it because I don't have to take care of them. My mother's in a nursing home now. It's Medicaid that's doing that. I'm not responsible for that cost. Social Security, through the roof. In fact, I think even a majority of Republicans want to expand.
But popular is not a way to qualify something. If I went out there and I gave, if I went to high school and I said, guys, I'm giving dime bags to everybody weed.
Actually, I think that the popularity of a policy that helps tens of millions of people not live in poverty, I think that actually is a very good way of determining how valuable something is in a democratic society. I don't know. I feel like that's at least a factor in it. Maybe.
I'd be a very popular kind of high school. So that is a wrong way to qualify.
You said efficiency.
Yeah.
Medicare, 3% administrative costs versus 15%.
That's like the kid that's running for class president. It's like every Friday we're throwing up.
Garbage fit, by the way. Armholes way too low. This is like some trash off the rack slim fit stuff. Wearing it over a polo. Look at this.
Pizza party. Well, he's going to get everybody's vote. But who's paying for the pizza party?
Well, workers. In fact, I would argue
Sam looks
that
great.
we should be actually removing the cap on Social Security taxes, because right now, it goes only up $160,000, right? There's a cap. Traditionally, Social Security has captured or touched 91% of the country's income. You follow me? And now it's somewhere down in like the mid 80s because of wealth inequality.
But your argument on the flip side of it, the argument can be as well to say, well, at the beginning when they came out with Social Security, there was only a few thousand people in America that was actually using it. It was not meant to be for...
Yeah, because you pay into it over time. Like that's the whole... obviously the point of the policy is that it expands over time, because when you first roll it out, like, people haven't paid into it yet. There wasn't any money initial. Well, they set aside some initial, but it's a payment plan. Like, it's meant to be something you invest into. Will they ever get a second argument apart from who's going to pay for it? I personally, do you have any idea what the poverty rates for seniors were like before Social Security? Can I get a chart on that? I'm trying to find a chart that goes all the way back to like 45. But I can't find one because it's harder to track stuff. Hold on. Senior poverty rate, 1930s. I can't see anything that goes back that far. Too bad they didn't invent sociology until recently. I'll have to look into it later. Don't want to spend forever just looking for the one thing.
As big of a behemoth of what it is today.
No,
it kept 2/3 of our elderly out of poverty. It keeps 2/3 of our elderly.
Nobody's arguing the benefits.
That's not the argument, though. That's not the argument. The argument is, originally when it came out, it wasn't for the bigger percentage.
You had to wait. You had to wait.
Yeah, this only goes back to 55, but I want to see it back to when the policy was first implemented. But even here, I mean, you can still see, look at this sharp decline in elderly people, 65 or older. Even back in, what is this, 1960? Even back in, 1959, 35% of seniors, of people of retirement age, were in poverty. And what this would have been like the war on poverty, right? LBJ shit. Look, man, look at that decline. This is the furthest back I could find. Yeah, I think before that you would have to find, like, I don't know, treatises written by guys with big mustaches talking about, I don't know, their experiences in the poorhouses of New Jersey or something, and that would be the best you could get for sociological data.
No, you didn't have to. You had to have capitalists work and overtax them to be able to fund it. That's what you had to do. But let me go back to the question.
Okay. Also, I've never been a big anti-work guy. I think that work can be very liberating and fun in the right context. If you own your work and if you're providing a valuable community service and if your work allows you to be social with the people around you, like, I think that there are some jobs that people of retirement age would not only do begrudgingly, but would enjoy doing. For example, like, you know, mom and pop shops, in their current form, I don't defend them broadly as a concept, but can you imagine being 65 and, like, you have two roads you can take, okay? You have two choices, all right? One road you can take is you have no more obligations whatsoever, and the rest of your life, until you die, can be you chilling. And the other path that you can take is from time to time, maybe like 16 to 24 hours a week, as you choose, you can be the cashier or like front person for like a local shop that your community depends on, and people come in and they like you and they talk to you, and you get to like keep up with the gossip of your neighborhood, and your friends would come in to say hi or bring you like a snack when they know it's around your lunchtime, and you would, like, you know, there'd be like a cute old lady that you like, and she would drop by occasionally to pretend to buy something, but really she just wanted to talk to you. Like, yeah, you get to jibber jabber, exactly. I think I think that if work is liberating, I think that if work feels community oriented and well adjusted, and it's something that you have the choice to do rather than something you need to do to survive. But at that point, what's the difference between job and volunteering? Well, the pay, presumably. But I think that, I don't know, when I'm old, when I'm like 70 or whatever, I'd like to believe that I would, I don't know, maybe go to a soup kitchen and help out. There are a lot of old people who do stuff like that because, like, clearly they're not doing it to survive because they're not paid to go there, you know? It would just be something they could do. Basically, what I'm saying is, if the work is right, I think people of every age can be, well, not like a baby or whatever, of most every age can be economically productive. And I don't mean that in some ghoulish libertarian way where it's like, you will all be Walmart greeters until you die. I mean, there are jobs people like doing in the right circumstances. And if you're older, you know, it is good for you to keep some pep in your step, to have some obligations to keep you, you know, waking up in the morning, and, you know, there's to shave every day. There are reasons, you know. But I don't want it to be like obligatory. I don't want it to be like, you'll die if you don't do it, but it would help the overall economy if older people were economically productive. I just want it to be something they could choose to do. You know, it's the old saying, right? From each according to their ability, to each according to their need. You know, the idea would just be, if you're old, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have nothing you can offer. My mom is about to retire as a teacher, and she's planning on opening a company that organizes the new pod teaching that was introduced during COVID. She really likes doing stuff like that. That's nice. I work in an animal shelter. You're 10,000% correct. A lot of our volunteers are retirees. They love helping us work because they get to interact with the cats, and it makes them happy while making my job easier. Yeah. No. Yeah, stuff like that. I know this is not universally applicable, and I understand. And the point here is that you shouldn't be forced to do this or die. Right? Like, that's my argument here, is not one against Social Security. My argument is that, like, our economy in general would be healthier at every level if work was less soul crushing. So much social wealth is siphoned off into the coffers of the ultra wealthy. And, you know, a lot of people, like, never want to work again because work is miserable. So why would they want to, you know? My retired dad now announces at my local high school. Oh, nice. My old man is a retired accountant, but regularly does other people's taxes for a small fee to do something productive. That's awesome. Yeah, I think stuff like that is cool. You know, you've spent an entire lifetime building a skill set. It makes sense that you would, you know. Yeah, also not to sound like I'm trying to like be patronizing or tell them what's good for them, but it is also good for the health of humans to have a schedule and to have work they have to do consistently. Especially as you get older, you can fight off Alzheimer's and dementia by having a reason to get up, to pay attention to stuff, to focus. That is true. That is the case. You know, any kind of mental work will keep you active. It's one of the reasons why consistently, whenever you hear about like the oldest people alive, okay, I don't know about you guys, maybe this is just my bias in what I've seen, but when I hear about oldest people alive, it's never like, here's some really wealthy European socialite who's done nothing and has like perfectly smooth hands. It's always like, yeah, I'm a 108-year-old Chinese subsistence farmer in the far western provinces, and every morning I wake up at 5 a.m. to tend to my field and da-di-da. Or you hear about some like old Italian grandma who drinks 3 glasses of red wine every day, but they like go on a walk along the beach for 4 hours even though they can barely hobble. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, staying active, it's like the whole body is muscle, right? Kind of, you know, it's like you keep a muscle active, you keep the whole body active. It's a process. I do see those stories, but I have no idea if they're representative. Well, being wealthy tends to mean you live longer, but I think that like it's difficult to fully assess how active a person is in the ways that help them live long, you know? Like, I can speak to one stereotype in particular that I'm extremely familiar with, which is old Jewish people. I grew up in a very Jewish neighborhood, and there's at least in Beverly Hills, I've heard this is the case in a lot of Jewish communities in like New York and New Jersey as well, but there's a strong emphasis on incorporating older people in the family unit and keeping them like in the big family gatherings, right? Like if you're an older Jewish person in a lot of these families, because like Protestant white people, like WASPs, old people just get thrown into a retirement home and never talked to again. But I would consistently see like grouchy looking 90-year-old Orthodox Jewish guys with like the hat and the everything, who like, you know, going along with these big families, and they were like they were dressed up in a suit and they would like talk and whatever. And like there were so many ancient people in Beverly Hills, and they weren't like the super wealthy people in the hills. I mean, like, just it seems like just doing stuff helps. I don't know. I've heard this is the case with extended families in like Latin cultures as well, but yeah, I don't know. I just think it would be nice if we didn't have the belief that your life ends when you're old. Miyazaki is like 84 or something, and dude just won a Oscar for Boy and the Heron, you know? I know that he's a unique case. 83? Okay, 83. Like, I know he's a unique case, but like your life doesn't end when you hit retirement age. Your life continues until you die. You are just as alive every day that you're alive until you die. He also lives off pure hatred. Spite should drive the elderly. This is only natural. My grandpa's like 95.
You are saying, just to validate your point, I think at that point, this is FDR back in the day.
We can pull up the data.
I think there was 40 workers for every retiree. I think now it's closer to like 3 workers.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
It's not even close.
No, it is sustainable.
You think it's sustainable.
No, I don't think it's sustainable. I'm looking at the Social Security Trust Fund actuarial
with the letter, when they sent you this, in the Social Security letter, they're telling you if we go this way, this is going to go bankrupt.
No, you're misreading it. The trust fund is going to go bankrupt. In 1981, Greenspan and Reagan expanded the trust fund. We had a surge of baby boomers. There is a trust fund that exists that is essentially like a rainy day fund. That is going to be insolvent around 2033.
2033. 10 years. You are correct. I just had this conversation this past week.
However,
that's not a concern. That's not a concern.
It is a concern.
I really admire Sam Seder for his ability to engage directly with antagonism in a way that comes across as measured and not like a sneering debate bro, which is something that I'm afraid I can't manage. I would like to adopt that, you know. I guess maybe a lot of it is just age. Like he's just older, so there's a different association, but still. He's great.
It will cause 20% in cuts to our benefits.
Okay.
But that's it, period. Now, the way that we can get rid of that 20% in cuts in the Social Security Trust Fund is to do what I'm suggesting. Remove the cap so that every dollar you make even above $160,000 is taxed by Social Security.
Sam,
and then your kids will be long dead before that trust fund is out.
Hopefully, if I raise my kids right, my kids won't need to be supported by the government.
They don't need to be...
See, again, this is the ghoulish attitude from these pieces of shit. They don't engage with anything Sam's actually saying. Basically, it's just contempt for the poor. Oh, if I do, if my kids are good, then they won't ever be poor, so what matter? That's not an answer to anything Sam Seder just said. They just don't like poor people.
If they don't need that social insurance, look, I mean, how can you, as an insurance guy, how can you not understand that?
No, I
don't sit around saying like, I hope that I don't need my fire insurance. I hope I don't. If your kids don't need Social Security, old age insurance, then you know what? We will tax the money back.
I am better for society. I am better for society if I find ways to get people off of needing.
See, again, he doesn't care. He's not engaging with anything Sam Seder said. This guy, I hate people. It's like their position is literally just like, don't tax me, also I hate poor people. He doesn't get it. No, he does get it, and he's not throating the boot. He just wants to be the boot, or might be the boot. I don't know how much money this guy has. It's not, he just hates poor people. That's it. There's no other explanation for it. Don't tax me, I hate poor people. That's it. You've gone over this guy before and he makes you mad almost every time. He's pretty wealthy, he's very, very rich. Okay, yeah, then he is the boot. Like, this is a guy who's worth, I don't know how many millions, on a podcast where he's like, poverty's a moral failing and my children won't fall into it. So that's my answer to your actuarial tables, Sam Seder, grifter extraordinaire. No, it's not grifting. that word, grifting doesn't mean when you're bad. Grifting means when you're pretending to hold a position. He genuinely believes that. It's not grifting. This is just a reflection of his political beliefs.